Hi, my name is Markus Orthaver and I'm a senior lecturer at the Chair of Mechanics of the Montana-Universität Leoben.
Hi, we are Natalie,
Marissa
and Matthias,
and we are students at the Montana University in Leoben.
I teach several courses using the flipped classroom approach. The two used within the PolyFlip project are an introductory course to engineering mechanics and an exercise course in statics and mechanics of materials. Both use wikis for theory, example problems, formative assessments with immediate feedback via pre-recorded videos, PDF solutions, discussion boards, summative quizzes, and so on. Most importantly, there's a clearly defined learning path that unlocks further material by conditions.
First time we got in touch with the FCA method at the Montana University in Leoben.
Our professor used this method in our last year's mechanics course.
In engineering mechanics, it's important that students gain hands-on experience, and that's why it was clear to me that the flipped classroom approach is the way to go. That's what I've been continually developing since 2013.
I didn't really know what to think about it because I've never experienced this form of teaching before.
At first I was a little bit overstrained because it was the first time that I was confronted with this method.
Yes, and it felt more time-consuming than the traditional courses, and it took a while to adapt to the new method.
It might seem a bit arrogant, but I don't remember having any fears when starting with the flipped classroom approach. The only thing that was a bit challenging for me was to find the time to implement all the ideas that I had. Pro tip: take small steps and don't rush it.
The biggest challenge for me was to do the exercises on time, since I also have some other things to do for university.
Time management definitely is one of the main challenges.
There are always things one can improve, of course, and that's what I'm doing in my flipped classroom approach. I came to the realization that a flipped classroom course is a continuously developing thing, like all good teaching, actually. There are literally endless possibilities to implement your subject matter. However, having a clear vision from the start is crucial.
Honestly, working with my friends was always so much fun that I was always looking forward to seeing them again and study with them again.
Discussing problems and different ideas on how to solve them in class makes it easier to stay focused.
Learning at home and using the advantage of the fact that I did not have to prepare so much for exams and start from the scratch, this was my main motivating factor.
Compared to traditional approaches, FCA significantly enriches students' experience of teaching and learning. Used wisely, it really lifts the interest level.
I think the main benefit was that I was really forced to work on the problems for myself and not only sit in the classroom and listening to the teacher.
I think that due to the fact that we had to concern ourselves with the examples we got in class at home, we learned more about the different chapters and themes.
The FCA method offers higher flexibility regarding the time and the environment, since the main learning and preparation work is done at home outside of the classroom. This way, the time in class can be used precisely to work on issues.
In the flipped part of the course, there are several channels students can interact with me. Message boards, email, messengers, or even virtual and face-to-face consultation hours.
If there were more difficult examples, we solved them together.
Yes, the assignments were discussed in small groups of 3 to 4 students.
And our teacher was always there to help us.
According to the students, communication worked really great, and I was also personally satisfied with it. Homework problems prior to classes help the students to understand the material and visit the classes prepared. They love to go through the material in their own pace, revisit everything and learn wherever they want.
The videos that provided a solution were the most helpful, since you can watch them anytime, anywhere.
This way you could improve your mistakes and also learn from them.
I also always watched his videos when studying for the assignments.
The key to get the results you want is to stick with the content and approach you're comfortable with. And never forget that technology is here to aid and enrich your didactic concept. Never ever use technology for the sake of just using it.
It's important to also increase the visibility of the university in the field of teaching, not only in the field of research. Here it is absolutely crucial to embrace new and innovative methods. Of course, always keeping in mind the educational benefits. For me, the outcome for our students is of the utmost importance. I'm happy to report that students' feedback is very positive. They gratefully embrace these new concepts and adapt to them. Students' performance has noticeably gone up, as proven by the course evaluations as well as by the results of the exams.
I think the chances to succeed were higher because I had the possibility to either ask the other students or the lecturer to help me with my problems and solve them together.
And also because we got the chance to upload exercises we did at home and actually get credit for that.
I think blended learning is a great approach for any subject. It helps to enrich higher education courses as well as lifelong learning content, among many other things.
The FCA method would be very useful in most of the courses, but it strongly depends on the lecturer to adapt to the new method.
Yeah.
If I had all the possibilities, I would have used even more interactive content, like interactive videos and quizzes with individualized feedback. All that is already perfectly possible from a technical point of view, but the main restriction is my time to develop more content.
Looking back at it, I really liked it because, as I said before, it helped me to work on myself and also help my friends.
It is our responsibility to create the conditions necessary to implement elements of these new teaching formats. As every new thing takes a lot of effort, I recognize and cannot value highly enough the work that's been put in by some of our teachers. I'm aware that at the start this takes a bit of an investment, which, however, in the long run will pay off significantly. This I'm absolutely convinced of.
If you are still on the fence using the FCA method, I would say just give it a try. It will take some time in the beginning, but the results will surely be worth it.
Don't overthink too much, do the exercises, adapt to the process, and if you have troubles, speak to your teacher because everything will come from itself.
What I would say is to stay on the ball, and you should know that there is always someone there to help you, and I think that's what helped me the most.
If you ever get the chance to try out this method, take it, because it helps develop your own character and your learning methods.